ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नमो नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भागवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 4, verse number 15. Today we are going to complete this chapter, and there will be series of verses. So we will recite that verse which has some long purport in it. Verse number 15, Canto 11, Chapter 4. ओमित्य आदेशम आदाय नत्वा तं सुरवन्दिनः उर्वशीम् अप्सरः श्रेष्ठां पुरस्कृत्य दिवं युयुः। Translation: vibrating the sacred syllable Om, the servants of the demigods selected Urvashi, the best of the Apsaras. Placing her in front of them out of respect, they returned to the heavenly planets. Verse number 16. Indraya namya sadasi Shanvatam tridivaukasam Uchur Narayana Balam Shakras Tatrasa Vismitaha. The servants of the demigods reached the assembly of Indra, and thus, while all the residents of the three heavens listened, they explained to Indra the supreme power of Narayana. When Indra heard of Nara Narayana Rishi and became aware of his offense, he was both frightened and astonished. Verse number 17. Hamsa Swarupya Vadad Achyuta Atma Yogam Dattah Kumara Rishabho Bhagavan Pitanaha Vishnuhu Shivaya Jagatam Kalayavatirnas Tenarita Madhubhida Shrutayo Hayase. Translation: the infallible Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu has descended into this world by his various partial incarnations, such as Lord Hamsa, the swan, Dattatreya, the four Kumaras, and our own father, the mighty Rishabhadev. By such incarnations, the Lord teaches the science of self-realization for the benefit of the whole universe. In his appearance as Hayagriva, he killed the demon Madhu and thus brought the Vedas back from the hellish planet Patal Loka. Purport by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. It is stated in Skanda Puran that Lord of the universe, Hari himself, once appeared in the form of a young brahmachari named Kumara and spoke transcendental knowledge to Sanat Kumar. Verse number 18. Guptopyaye manurilau shadhayascha matsye Kraude hato ditija udharatam bhasah kshamam. Kaurme dhritodrir amriton mathane swaprishthe Grahat prapannam ibharajam amunchadartam. Translation. In his appearance as a fish, the Lord protected Satyavrata Manu, the earth and her valuable herbs. He protected them from the waters of annihilation. As a boar, the Lord killed Hiranyaksha, the son of Diti, while delivering the earth from the universal waters. And as a tortoise, he lifted Mandara mountain on his back so that nectar could be churned from the ocean. The Lord saved the surrendered king of the elephants, Gajendra, who was suffering terrible distress from the grips of a crocodile. Verse number 19. Samstunavato nipatitan shramanam rishimscha Sakram cha vritravadhatas tamasi pravishtam. Devastriyo suragrihe pihita anatha Jagne surendram abhayaya satam narsimhe. Translation. The Lord also delivered the tiny ascetic sages called the Valakilyas when they fell into the water in a cow's hoof print, and Indra was laughing at them. The Lord then saved Indra when Indra was covered by darkness due to the sinful reaction for killing Vritrasur. When the wives of the demigods were trapped in the palace of the demons without any shelter, the Lord saved them. In his incarnation as Narsimha, the Lord killed Hiranyakashipu, the king of demons, to free the saintly devotees from fear. Verse number 20. Deva sure yudhicha daityapatin surarthe Hatvantareshu bhuvananya dadhat kalabhihi Bhutva thavamanayimam maharad baleh kshamam Yachna chalena samadadaditehe sutebhyah. Translation. The Supreme Lord regularly takes advantages of the wars between the demons and demigods to kill the leaders of the demons. The Lord thus encourages the demigods by protecting the universe through his various incarnations during the reigns of each Manu. The Lord also appeared as Vamana and took the earth away from Bali Maharaj on the plea of begging 3 steps of land. The Lord then returned the entire world to the sons of Aditi. Verse 21. Nikshatriyamakrita gam chatrihi sapta kritvo Ramastu haya kulapyaya bhargavagnihi Sobdhim babandha dasha vaktram ahan salankam Sita patir jayati lokamalagna kirtihi. Translation. Lord Parshuram appeared in the family of Bhrigu as a fire that burned to ashes the dynasty of Haihaya. Thus Lord Parshuram rid the earth of all Kshatriyas 21 times. The same Lord appeared as Ramachandra, the husband of Sita Devi, and thus he killed the 10-headed Ravana along with all the soldiers of Lanka. May that Sri Rama, whose glories destroy the contamination of the world, be always victorious. Purport. According to Srila Sridhar Swami, Lord Ramachandra was more or less a contemporary incarnation of the 9 Yogendras. Thus they have offered particular respect to Lord Ramachandra as indicated by the word Jayati. Verse 22. Now this purport we will read. Bhumer bharavatarnaya yadushva janma jatah karishyati surairapi dushkarani Vadair vimohayati yagyakrito tadarhan Shudran kalaukshiti bhujo nyahashni shadante Bhumer bharavatarnaya yadushva janma Jatah karishyati shurairapi dushkarani Vadair vimohayati yagyakrito tad arhan Shudran kalaukshiti bhujo nyahani shadante Anyone wants to recite? Bhumer bharavatarnaya yadushva ajanma Jatah karishyati shurairapi dushkarani Vadair vimohayati yagyakrito tadarhan Shudran kalaukshiti bhujo nyahanishadante Bhumer bharavatarnaya yadushva janma Jatah karishyati surairapi dushkarani Vadair vimohayati yagyakrito tadarhan Shudran kalaukshiti bhujo nyahanish Mataji Bhumer bharavatarnaya yadushva janma जातः करिष्यति सुररपि दुष्कराणि वादैर्विमोहयति यज्ञकृतो तदर्हान् शूद्रान् कलौक्षितिभुजोऽन्यः. Per word meaning, bhumehe, of the earth, bhara, the burden, avtaranaya, to diminish, yadushu, in the Yadu dynasty, ajanma, the unborn lord, jataha, taking birth, karishyati, he will perform, suraihi, by the demigods, api, even, dushkarani, difficult deeds, vadaihi, by speculative arguments, vimohayati, he will bewilder, yajnakritaha, the performers of Vedic sacrifices, atat arhan, who are unfit to be so engaged, shudran, the low class men, kalau, in the degraded age of Kali, Kshiti-Bhujaha, rulers, Nyahanishyat, he will kill, Ante, at the end. Translation, repeat after me. To diminish the burden of the earth, the unborn Lord will take birth in the Yadu dynasty and performs feats impossible even for the demigods. Propounding speculative philosophy, the Lord as Buddha will bewilder the unworthy performers of Vedic sacrifices. And as Kalki, the Lord will kill all the low class men posing as rulers at the end of the age of Kali. Purport by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki, it is understood that in this verse, the description of the Lord's appearance in the Yadu dynasty refers to the appearance of both Krishna and Balram, who together removed the demoniac rulers of who were burdening the earth. Srila Jiva Goswami has pointed out that the description of the incarnations to deal with Shudran or low class men refer to both Buddha and Kalki. Those who misuse Vedic sacrifice to engage in gross sense gratification, such as the sinful killing of animals, are certainly in the category of Shudra, as are the so-called political leaders of Kali Yuga, who perform many atrocities in the name of state management. So we will end the last verse also. Text 23. Evam vidhani janmani karmani cha jagatpatehe bhurini bhuri yashaso varnitani mahabhuja. Translation. O mighty armed king, there are innumerable appearances and activities of the Supreme Lord of the universe similar to those I have already mentioned. In fact, the glories of the Supreme Lord are unlimited. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjala Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. By the blessings of the assembled Vaishnavas and the senior Vaishnavas here, and Srila Prabhupada and my Guru Maharaj, I would like to discuss or talk about this particular chapter of the 11th canto, wherein one of the Yogendra, Drumila, he's explaining or he's describing various incarnations of the Lord. And meanwhile, he also describes a pastime where he's describing Naranayan Rishi. At that point, he's describing a pastime where Naranayan Rishis are performing austerities, and again, not for the first time, repeatedly this happens, that Indra becomes insecure and he sends Cupid with celestial beauties or apsaras. And Indra's plan failed there because he has forgotten that he is not disturbing a normal living entity. He is none other than incarnation of the Lord. In 3rd canto, Kapil Muni instructing Devhuti Mata, in that canto there is description of Narayan Rishi specially. Tat srishta srishta srishteshu Koanva khandita dihi puman Rishim Narayanam Rite Yoshin Mayeva Mayaya. In the whole universe, in the whole material world, all the living entities will get affected, will be conquered by Maya. All the living entities. Except one. That is Rishi Narayan. He will not be conquered by specially the beauty of a woman. So this is a teaching for everyone, for all the sadhakas especially, that we should never think that we will become so perfect that we will be able to challenge Maya. And especially the attraction towards opposite gender. Only Narayan Rishi, that means only Lord, can conquer Maya. Daiviyasya gunamai mama Maya duratya. The Maya which is composed of 3 gunas, Sattva, Raja and Tamogun. Although Lord enters into this material world, in 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd chapter, where Vasudevji prays to his own son, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. SriSriRadhaRasbihari Bhagwan ki, Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Bhakta Hanuman ki, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai Bhagwan ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So Vasudevji is glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is a combination of understanding the supreme opulence, the opulence of the Supreme Lord, and at the same time having affection for the Lord as a son. Because Vasudevji is a father and Krishna, the Supreme Personality Godhead, is the son. So while praying, you will find that how Vasudevji is glorifying, at the same time he is very well aware of the supreme opulences of the Lord. So whenever we pray also, that's the way of praying, that first we glorify Lord. Directly we don't ask some boon from the Lord, we glorify first Lord. That's the standard etiquette. And in there, Vasudevji is saying that, is praying that Lord, although everything is coming, the whole cosmic manifestation is coming from you, and it appears that you enter into it, but actually there is no need to enter. Why? Because Lord is already present in each and every atom, everywhere in this whole world, whole universe. Andantarastu paramanu chayantarastham aham sarvasya prabho matha sarvam pravartate. There are so many verses where Lord explains about his own all perceiveness. So Lord being everywhere present in his impersonal manifestation, there is no need to separately appear somewhere because Lord is always there. But still, now who will understand the all pervasiveness of the Lord? It's very difficult to understand. If Lord is not going to incarnate in this whole world, it's very difficult to believe also that the Lord is everywhere. Satyam vidhatum nijabhritta bhashitam. In order to fulfill the desire or the words of his devotees. Adrushata ati adbhuta rupam udvan stambhe sabhayam. Lord appeared from the pillar. When he was asked, the Prahlad Maharaj was asked that, whether Lord is present everywhere. Yes, he is present. He is present in pillar also. This was not a philosophical response from Prahlad Maharaj. It was very genuine that Lord is everywhere. The difference between a neophyte devotee and advanced devotee is that it depends upon the factor that is faith, Shraddha. How much a devotee is convinced that Lord is present everywhere. Whatever actions I am performing, the main reason is the Lord. The energy is coming from the Lord. When we understand Lord's role in our life, in our actions, in our day-to-day life, that makes us advances in devotion life. Here is a description of Samudra Manthan Leela also. And in that Samudra Manthan Leela, if you see the Lord's role, from the beginning, the plan of combining both the Asuras and the Devatas, the demons and the gods, to churn the ocean in order to get the nectar was given by Lord himself. And now for that, Mandara mountain is required. Mandara hill is required. And these both, the demons and Asuras and Devatas are not able to lift that mountain also. So again Lord is helping them. And now, to churn, you require a lot of energy. And again Lord invests energy into the demigods as well as Asuras in order to churn the huge Mandara hill. And because Mandara hill was going downwards, so as a support, there is a support given by again Lord, Kurma, Bhagwan. Now Lord doesn't stop here. Now his own incarnation, Dhanvantari, one of the incarnations. Now he brings the nectar. In order to the nectar should not be taken away fully by the demons, again he takes another incarnation, that is Mohini. See how just to complete one task, and all the demigods and demons are putting their own efforts, still they are completely dependent on the Lord. And here Lord wants to convince each and every living entity that you are not the doer. It's a simple philosophy that we are not the doer. Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha. Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha. Ahankaram vimudhatma karta aham iti manyate. Very simply explained by Srila Prabhupada in his purport also. Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha. This whole Prakriti, which composed of three modes of nature, and whoever is performing action, be any living entity, that can be animals, birds, living entities, they themselves feel that they are the doer. That is the difference between a devotee and non-devotee. When we explain such philosophy, especially our acharyas, when they focus on that we are not the doer and Lord is a doer, they definitely never entertain that we should become lazy or we should not act. Uddamena na siddhanti. This is a Niti shloka. Uddamena na siddhanti karyani na manorathaihi. Without endeavor, no one is going to achieve anything. Without endeavor. Uddamena na siddhanti. Karyani na manorathai. Just by mentally thinking about some action, oh, I will do this, I will do that, just procrastinating, tomorrow I will do, I will progress automatically. Just by thinking in this way, one is not going to achieve the desired goal. Uddhamena siddhanti karyani na manorathaihi. Nahi suptasya simhasya pravishanti mukhe mriga. Even the king of the forest, lion, and if he thinks just by sleeping, nahi suptasya simhasya pravishanti mukhe mriga, the deer is not going to automatically come into his mouth. Even the king of the forest has to put efforts. Even the prime minister of a country has to put efforts. Each and every soul, each and every living entity in this material world has to put endeavor, has to perform action. Nahi kashchik kshanam api jatu tisthati akarma krit. Karyati avasha karma. Even for a second, one cannot remain without performing action. He has to perform action. Now, definitely, this is a logic, this is a niti also saying that we have to perform and we don't just become dependent without doing anything towards Lord. We perform our action, we do our best. But when it comes to result, we rely on the Lord. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Many times this particular shloka is misinterpreted. But the actual translation is karmanyevad. You have a right to perform duty. Adhikar. For example, if someone has a right to vote. Adhikar. Mulbhut adhikar. Okay. Similarly, one has a right to perform action. But you don't have rights on the fruits. Now this is very weird, right? If someone is going to perform action, why is performing action? There should be some inspiration, right? And that inspirations come from where? From the result, from the fruit. If someone is working outside or is working or is performing a business, his main aspiration is what? To earn profit. To earn what? Profit. Without profit, he is not going to work, right? So without thinking about the fruit, how can you act? That's a weird way of, someone who is not reading Gita or some people who are the more materialist people, they may never digest this. But this is so. Why? Why Krishna is saying this? If we want to perform action, whatever action we want to perform, see, I'm talking about this. Why? Because we have to understand that we are not the actual doer. How to understand this? Just because we are performing action, we cannot claim the proprietorship. Like for example, if there is a builder who is constructing a building and there are many laborers employed in it, and now there is a team of 50 laborers, imagine, and the building, a tower, which is of maybe 20 floors. And now the building is completed. Who done the hard work? The laborers. And later the laborers claim, now this is our property. Is it fine? Definitely it is not fine. Because the builder was giving them the salary, okay, and they were just workers. The design was given by someone else, the engineers, okay. So just because they have put hard work, okay, they cannot claim the whole property. They can take the salary, but okay, they have that much right. Similarly, just because we are performing action, we cannot encroach upon the whole fruit which is coming out from the action. The whole body through which we are performing action, which is made of Dharti, Agni, Jal, Vayu, Akash, Bhumir, Apo, Nalo, Vayu, Kham, earth, water, fire, ether, air. Okay. The body is made of these 5 elements. And Krishna in 7th chapter, he says that these are my energies. Okay. These are not your energies. These are my energies. And again, we require intelligence. We require mind to think. Okay. Mind, intelligence, ego. Even those subtle energies. Krishna says, these are even my energies. Aparayam itastam annam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhuta mahabhav. Again the next verse, Krishna says, apart from this material energy, even the living entity, due to which the body is also working, okay, if there is no living entity in the body, the Atma, the soul is not there, the body is not going to work. Even that soul, Krishna says, Mamai vamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. You are mine. Ishavasyam idam sarvam. Krishna says everything is mine. When everything is of Lord's property, and we are just using the products of the Lord, and we are also property of the Lord, so how can we say that the results which is coming from that particular action which we are performing, that we will enjoy? That's why especially for a Grihastha, in Srimad Bhagavatam, Grihastha is advised to work, he is allowed to work outside, but the results should be divided. Now whenever he is going to earn money, that money should be divided into 5 categories. What are the 5 categories? Dharmaya, Yashase, Arthaya, Kamaya, Swajanaya cha. Ihate panchada vibhajam vittam, iha mutrasha modate. If anyone wants to enjoy this life, anyone wants to be happy in this life, and as well as in the next life he wants to enjoy, he has to follow this rule. What is that rule? He has to divide his money into 5 categories. What are the 5 sections? The division is dharmaya. 20% should be given for religion, dharmaya. Okay. Yashase, for his success. That could be material success also. That could be, having a proper status of life. For example, a doctor, a surgeon may require to maintain some status in the society, and for that you require money. So yashase, for your success, 20%. Dharmaya, yashase, arthaya. Money for money. Again, investing. Like if you invest some money, then you get more money. For that purpose also, 20%. Again, very practical. Srimad Bhagavatam never talks something which is very vague, very practical. Dharmaya, yashase, arthaya, kamaya. In order to fulfill your necessities, your sense gratification. Okay, there will be some sense gratification you have to fulfill. Nice clothes, nice food, house, that is allowed. 20% again. Dharmaya, yashase, kamaya, arthaya, and swajanaya, relatives. For a Grihastha, it's sometimes important to give money to these relatives also. So again 20%. To 20%, 20%, 20%, 20%, 20%. 20% for dharma, 20% for yasha, dharmaya, yashase, 20% again for artha, and 20% for kamaya, and 20% for swajana, relatives. So that is the division of your money. By gradually, when one does this, when one follows such type of rules in Varnashram Dharma, then he gradually becomes detached from the results of his action. And that's why Srimad Bhagavatam sometimes give a gradual process, also explains a gradual process how to uplift yourself in spiritual life. There is a direct process, there is an indirect process. Even Srimad Bhagavad-gita in 12th chapter, Mayyeva mana adhasva mayi buddhim niveshaya. Krishna said direct process. One must think about me always. Always he should remember me. Should be dependent on me. Okay. But that is not possible for everyone. Then for that person there is a sadhana bhakti. If the sadhana bhakti is not possible, okay, then mat karma parama bhava. One should perform action for the Lord. If that is not possible again, then karma phala tyaga. Okay, one must devote his results of his action. Okay, even that is not possible. Then Krishna says, okay, you must first take knowledge. Okay, jnanino abhyasa, jnana dhyanam vishishyate. Then dhyana, meditate upon it. And then dhyanat karma phala tyagat. Again, better than that is, again, you have to devote your results towards Lord. So Krishna gives every chance to the soul to uplift himself. And that's why the common thing in all these incarnations is the Lord's concern for the living entities. If you see, Matsya, again he's saving his devotee. Okay. Kurma, again helping the demigods. Okay. Varaha, again saving the earth. Okay. Narsimha, again saving devotee. If you see, one thing is very common, that Lord comes in this world for what? Especially for his devotees. And until and unless Lord doesn't come here in this world, it's very difficult to understand that Lord is everywhere. In order to prove that everything is dependent on Lord, and at the same time, Lord has a different Sachidananda Swarup also. It's not that Lord is impersonally present everywhere. At the same time, he has his own Sachidananda Swarup, his personal form, and that is proved by the incarnations of the Lord. And that's why Lord repeatedly comes again and again, especially for his devotees to get attracted towards him. And his pastimes can become the object of discussion for the devotees. That is the main purpose of Lord's incarnations. And when Lord also appears here, he also teaches that everything is dependent on him. One should never think that he is the doer. If you see, even in Narayan Rishi's case, Narayan Rishi was performing austerity. There is no connection as such between Indra and Narayan Rishi. Narayan Rishi is not concerned about Indra's enjoyment in celestial planet. He is not at all concerned. He never asked for that enjoyment. He not even asked, how are you, Indra? Are you enjoying or not? He's not at all concerned about that. But still, Indra felt insecurity. Now, this is the problem with the power and position. Okay. For any living entity, if he gets some power or position, he will be susceptible, he will be very sensitive, okay, towards becoming egoistic and to misuse that power or to exploit others. Okay. That's why in a devotee community, we should be very careful that power and position should never influence us. We should never ever forget the main goal of our life is to please Krishna, is to serve Krishna. And that's why the power or position should not be our prerequisite condition to serve Lord. We should not be bound by some extra conditions to serve Lord. Already we are conditioned soul. There are so many conditions on us. We are already conditioned soul. But when we come and when we join an institution which is a platform for performing devotional service, and even in that organization when we aspire for another external conditions to serve Lord, that becomes again a hurdle towards performing or towards achieving our main goal of human life, that is Lord Krishna. That's why devotees should be very alert. Unwanted weeds should not get nutrition through our sadhana bhakti. Okay, sadhana bhakti, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was explaining sadhana bhakti to Sanatana Goswami, I think Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, so in that he explains that bhakti lata gets nourishment from watering the seed, right? And that watering is nothing but Shravan and Kirtan. Okay. So when you are watering that particular seed and there is a lata, bhakti lata is coming up. And now what happens? Unwanted weeds also grow at the same time, which looks like bhakti only. Which looks like bhakti. Okay, I am doing this and that's bhakti only. Which looks like bhakti. But it may not be bhakti. Until unless we are not in the guidance, under the guidance of a very expert devotee, who is very cautious, okay, we will not be able to understand what is bhakti and what is not bhakti, the subtle differences. And if we are performing Shravana and Kirtan day by day, years after years, but the nutrition is taken by the unwanted weeds, then it's become a huge problem for us. And years after years, we will not be able to solve the problem. We may be in the institution, we may be in the organization, but devotional service, one cannot attain automatically. Until and unless one doesn't crave for it, without asking, you will not get anything. Material में बोलते हैं ना कि जब तक आवाज नहीं उठाओगे कुछ नहीं मिलने वाला है. Similarly, we doesn't show from our symptoms, our behavior, our eagerness that Lord, I want you and you only, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, na kavitam, jagdish kamayi. Navaya cherajam, na cha karnakamanikyam vibhavam. Nayacheham ramyam sakala janakamyam varavadhum sada kale kale pramatha patina gita charita Jagannatha Swami Nayana Pathagami Bhavatu me Jagannatha Swami Nayana Pathagami Bhavatu me. So this particular verse, very important verse from Jagannath Ashtakam written by Adi Shankaracharya. Adi Shankaracharya is a renunciate. And he is saying, Navai yache rajyam. Mujhe rajya nahi chahiye. I don't know. Where is kingdom? You are a renunciate. You are a beggar. Okay. Transcendental beggar, obviously. Where is kingdom? But still he is saying, I don't want kingdom. I will never aspire for that. Navai yache raj. Nacha kanak manik. I don't want any opulence. No bank balance I want. एक झोली है उनके पास. क्या होगा झोली में? नच कनक माणिक्यम विभवम नयाचे हम रम्यम सकल जन काम्यम. The whole world is mad after the beauty of a woman. Even I don't want that. Adi Shankaracharya, who took renunciation in childhood, around 8 years something, 7 years, 8 years something. And he is saying, I don't want woman also. Sada kale kale pramatapati gita charito Jagannatha Swami Danganena Patagami. I was just want to take your darshan, that's it. The only aspiration I have that I should always remember you, that's it. That is the main thing. And Lord Krishna is always checking this. Whether my devotee wants me only, and me only, that's it. If there is even 1%, something else he wants. And sometimes we see, we get that very easily after coming to devotional life. That's why devotee should be very careful that he should never aspire anything other than Lord. And that's the purpose of Ahetuki Bhakti. Lord's incarnating again and again. So many descriptions we have heard about. Lord is coming again and again for his devotees. For what? Yada hidahi dharmasya glanihi bhavati bharata. Glani. Whenever there is dharmasya glani. Srila Prabhupada speaks about this. Yesterday I was hearing a lecture of Srila Prabhupada from 3rd canto, 25th chapter, 10th verse. And Srila Prabhupada very beautifully he is explaining. So this is the business of Guru. To teach the student detachment. That this world is not your place. Your place is Vaikuntha Loka. Krishna comes for this purpose. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. This is dharmasya glanihi. When we become too attached with this material world, that is called dharmasya glanihi. What is dharma? Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. So whenever there is dharmasya glanihi, why there is dharmasya glani? Because we are not following the instructions of the Lord. Dharmasya sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Whatever is written in Bhagavad-gita, we go against. Dharma means the order of the Supreme Person. That is Dharma. So the order of the Supreme Person is, I mean to say, Prabhupada is saying this, open to everyone. So Lord is not partial. Named dveshasya na priya. Je bhajanti tu mam bhaktya. But still Lord is partial towards his devotee. Huh? So Lord is impartially partial. Again. Lord is impartially partial. No one is denied. No one is denied to not to perform devotional life. Okay, everyone is, the devotional path is open for everyone. Lord is partial towards his devotee. Why you are complaining? You can perform also devotional service, and Lord can become partial towards you also. So Lord is impartially partial. So the order of the Supreme is, I mean to say, open to everyone. Nobody can say that. I do not know what is the order of the Supreme. I do not carry out. That is another thing. But the order of the Supreme, there is Man Mana Bhava, Mad Bhakta, Madhyaji Mam, Namaskuru. Okay? Become my devotee. Pay obeisances to me. So that is Lord's order. And if someone is performing this, then there cannot be dharmasya glani then. That's why Srila Prabhupada again and again advises many a times. And one of the very important purport of Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 14th chapter and 35th verse. Please hear attentively. This is for everyone. The monkey-like conditioned soul first becomes attached to sex. And when intercourse actually takes place, he becomes more attached. He then requires some material comforts. Apartment, house, food, friends, wealth, and so on. In order to acquire these things, he has to cheat others. So in the material world, okay, pumsam striya mithuni bhavametan tayor mato hridayanti mahu atha griha kshetra sutapta vittay. The moment one gets united with a woman, man and woman unites, there is a need for all these things. Atha kshetra, griha, sutapta, vittay, children, property, house, bank balance, etc., etc. So apartment, house, food, friends, wealth, so on. And for that, there is cheating sometimes. So sometimes this enmity is created between the conditioned soul and the father or spiritual master. In order to get these things, sometimes the living entity even become envious towards his own father, and the disciple becomes envious towards spiritual master. Oh, my spiritual master is getting so much respect. Why can't I? Jealous. Okay, sometimes this can also happen. Unless one is firmly fixed in the regulative principles, Srila Prabhupada is saying this, unless one is firmly fixed in the regulative principles, one may perform mischievous acts. Even if one is a member of the Krishna consciousness movement. We therefore advise our disciples to strictly follow the regulative principles. Otherwise, the most important movement for the upliftment of humanity will be hampered due to dissension among its members. So if there will be disunity among us only, the main purpose of the mission will be hampered. So those who are serious about pushing forward this Krishna conscious movement should remember this and strictly follow the regulatory principles so that their minds will not be disturbed. Srila Prabhupada ki. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Anybody has questions? Yeah. Mike.
Hare Krishna. Guruji, I have two questions. In the beginning of the class, you mentioned that Krishna gives the chance to the soul to get out of this material world. For example, sadhaka. And then if not someone performing sadhan, then he has to do the karma, action. And then one has to give the fruits of the action. And then so forth. So, my question is, Prabhuji, the stages which Krishna giving to the particular individual to get out from this material world, which seems to be like, unless one become perfect in a sadhana, he can't do these things like giving fruit of the action to the performing action, or giving fruit, like without having expectation, one has to do the karma, and whatever fruit is there, we offer to Krishna. So unless one become perfect in a sadhana, one cannot go in the next stage. So how it's, Prabhuji, Krishna is giving chance in various different aspects of this process of.
So I will answer this question. Your question is that without performing sadhana, how can one devote his fruits, right? Okay, it's very difficult. How can he be, whatever hard earning he has made, and how can he give up for Lord without performing some sadhana, right? There will be no purification. Actually, there are some people who may not perform sadhana, okay, but they are ready to give donations, okay. And there are people you may hear saying, हमको माला बिला मत करवाइए, आपको जो भगवान के लिए जो हेल्प लगे वो बताइए हमको, हम आपको हेल्प करेंगे. And there are some people, maybe due to lack of time, they feel that they don't have time at all and they want to prioritize something else. So for those people, see, if someone is not able to perform sadhana, and our culture, especially the Vedic culture, is it's not exclusiveness कि तुम ये स्वीकारो नहीं तो तुम नरक में जाओगे, ऐसा नहीं है, okay. Lord gives every chance for everyone, even one who hates Lord, one who don't want to worship Lord, still Lord gives chance. So one who is not performing, atha chittam samadhatum na shaknosi mayi sthiram, जिसका मन स्थिर नहीं है, अभ्यास योगे ने ततो माम इच्छाप्तुम धन, उसी के लिए साधना भक्ति है, माम इच्छाप्तुम धनंजय. अगर वो भी that is not also possible, अभ्यास अपि असमर्थ, he is not able to perform sadhana also, then for him mat karma parama bhava, he must act for me. There could be some engineer who will help in temple construction, but he will not take any money. There could be such devotees, okay, who may not perform sadhana, but they will give some practical service for the spreading of the mission. So Lord counts even that, okay. So that is abhyasapi asamarthe, mat karma parama. Even if someone is not able to do that, if directly is not able to work for me, then what he can do, mad artham api karmani kurvam siddhim avapsasi. Sorry, athaita vyashaktosi kartum mad yogam ashita sarva karma phalatyagam. Then for that person is that you do your material activity, but karma phal mujhe dena, okay. May not be everything, he will not be able to give, maybe some percent. And that's why in Bhagavatam, 20%, 20%, 20%, I've already mentioned. So it's not that just after performing sadhana and then he will become purified and then only he will devote his fruits. There are some people who may not be that much pure, but still, due to some pious activity, their desire is to help the mission of the Lord without performing sadhana. So we welcome them also, okay. Na buddhi bhedam janyet अज्ञान कर्म संकीनाम जोशे सर्व कर्माणि विद्वान युक्त समाचारम. भगवद-गीता में कृष्ण बोल रहे हैं कि डोंट डिस्टर्ब पीपल हु आर अटैच्ड टू मटेरियल एक्टिविटीज, ओके. वी कैन dovetail their activities in service of Lord. Okay. Your first question answer is okay. Yeah.
The
Thanks.
second question is, you mentioned one point that even we have tinge of desire in the process of devotional service. So Krishna may give that, fulfill that desire, and then he gives the devotion also. So even suppose in the case of Dhruva Maharaj we can see, so he has some material desire, but then he purified, he admitted that, Lord, I don't want anything. So in my case, suppose I have some desire, and although I am aware that his desire is not good for devotional service, annabhilashita shunya, and even you mentioned Krishna fulfills that desire. So that desire itself leads to the person to entangle in this material world again, or after getting that desire fulfilled, he will go back to Godhead. Like how?
So I repeat your question, that if Krishna fulfills a desire of a devotee, whether that desire fulfillment leads to further entanglement or not, right? That's the question. So if Krishna is very merciful on that particular devotee, then yasyaham anigranami harishyat dhanam shanay. He may fulfill that desire, but in such a way that he'll never again ask. I don't want to give an example in this case right now, but for example, I will give again. If someone wants to get a very nice job or a particular job, he's saying, Krishna, please, I want that only. Then only I can perform. And he's very stubborn. And if he gets that job, and he becomes so frustrated with that job, he becomes, no more job I want to do now. Okay. So such kind of thing can happen. Okay. So Krishna boli seiji, Ami Vigya sei murkha Vishai kene deva, Swacharana Amrita diya, Vishaya bhulaiba. Krishna says, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, that Krishna is very intelligent. Okay. A soul and living entity may be fool. Number one. Okay. But Krishna is very intelligent. How Krishna can give sense gratification? Okay. He may fulfill in such a way the desire of a living entity that he will hanker for the nectar of the lotus feet of the Lord. He will cry for Lord. Then Krishna will say, Aya, finally aa to gaya. Rote hua aaya par aaya. So it's upon us. It's upon our choice. Whether to, okay, go very easily, सुन के समझ जाने का, या फिर अनुभव करके कि भौतिक संसार कैसे है, और भगवान आपको अच्छी तरह से अनुभव कर देंगे, और फिर आप भगवान पर शरणागत होगे. That choice relies on the devotee. Okay, thank you.
At the end, there is no entanglement in this material world. However, because
if Krishna fulfills anyone's desire, then there cannot be any entanglement, because Krishna himself, because a devotee's life is under the control, depend on the prarabdha. It depends upon Krishna's intervention. Okay, so when Krishna is handling his life, so he will not get entangled, further entangled. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Being a student, I have one question and query. Like, how can a student be ambitious at the same time he can be spiritual grounded? Because sometimes I ask people, they say, if you are ambitious, you can't be a devotee, because if you want to be devotee, there are best other option. You can serve Lord full time. So what is the best option in this case?
Okay. So your question is, as a student, how to maintain this at the same time being ambitious and to become a devotee, right? To spiritually elevated. So there are examples of great devotees who were ambitious, right? Like Arjuna, okay? They were ambitious. That's why if there is no ambition, how can he become such a great archer? So they were ambition. Ambition is not wrong. But when you use that ambition in service of Krishna, then it's devotion. But you use that ambition for your enjoyment, then that becomes a fall now. So whatever your ambition is, okay, under the guidance of a proper mentor, one should take guidance, because this general class we cannot give a very particular advice. So generally I'm just saying that whatever ambition you have, if that can be used in Krishna's service, okay, when you are studying also, you are thinking that, okay, I'm studying for Lord Krishna, okay, whatever I will become, I want to help in Krishna's mission, but under the guidance of a proper mentor. Okay, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि while going in that direction you leave devotion only. That should not happen. So the ambition is in use in Krishna's service, then that become devotion. Then there can be spiritual elevation also. Okay, thank you so much. We will stop here. Sorry, the time is up. Srila Prabhupada ki Hare Krishna, कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रीमद् भागवतम महापुराण की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।